Guys, I am Joy Kakaryon, and on this tutorial, you will learn about what is the use of inheritance in object-oriented programming 2, and I will give you some example about it. Hope you watch and learn something. So, what is the meaning of inheritance? Inheritance is mechanism by which allows one class, or what we call child class, to inherit a features like fields and methods to another class, or what we refer as parent class. What is the use of inheritance? First is for method overriding. Method overriding so that runtime polymorphism can be achieved. Second is for code reusability. As its name implies, reusability, we can reuse the fields and methods of an existing class when we create a new class. For the syntax, class is the keyword for creating a class, then subclass name. This is the child class, then extends keyword, meaning or it indicates rather that you are making a new class that derives from an existing class. Then for the superclass name, it is what we refer as the parent class. The project name that I have created is inheritance 1. And class bat is the parent class. Inside the parent class is int tax, and the value of the tax is 30. Static class product. Product is the subclass, or also known as the child class, extends bat. Then double price is equal to 1500.50. Then inside the main is product rather j is equal to new product. Then system.out println product value added tax, concatenate j.tax. Then system.out.println product price, concatenate j.price. Then the output of the inheritance number 1 is value added tax, or the product value added tax is equivalent to 30. Then the value for product price is equal to 1500.5.
Hiding certain kinds of information is considered a good programming technique, one that makes the programmer's job simpler and the programmer's code easier to understand. It is basically a way to avoid information overload. What is abstraction? It is a property by virtue of which only the essential details are displayed to the user. It is also defined as the process of identifying only the required characteristics of the object and ignoring the irrelevant details. Abstraction, meaning to say, is a method that can be used without any need to understand the fine detail or the more complex detail of the code, and the term abstraction emphasizes the fact that the programmer acts as though the body of the method were hidden from the view. The term abstract from the word abstraction, meaning when we abstract something, we will lose some of the details. For example, an abstract of a paper or a book is a brief description of the paper or a book as opposed to the entire document. And for the real scenario example, when we watching the television, we all know that once we click the on button, the video and images will play on the screen. But we don't know how the mechanisms or other components inside the television runs on the background.
Use the sample code for abstraction. One superclass called employee and two subclasses called contractor, and full-time employee. As you can see, there are declared variables under private and public modifier. The name modifier, the name and the payment per hour. When the variable is used on private, it means it can only be accessed within the class, while in public, it can be accessed through its subclasses. The word this means declaring it in its own class. The method get, as you can see, is used to obtain or retrieve a particular variable value class, and set value is used to store variables. Under the contractor subclass, we have added a variable working hours to denote the numbers of hours worked in a certain day. Meanwhile, in full-time employee records, set 8 hours in a day. Using the word overriding, ride on a subclass means a subclass can implement a parent class method based on its requirement and override the functionality of an existing method. That's all.
Encapsulation versus data abstraction. Encapsulation is data hiding or information hiding, while the abstraction is data hiding or implementation hiding. The information hiding, it describes the idea of bundling data and methods that work on the data within one unit in a class in Java, while the implementation hiding is the idea behind implementation is to hide the inner workers of the function from the outside world, while the encapsulation groups together data and methods that act upon the data. The abstraction deals with exposing the interface to the user and hiding the details of the implementation. These are the advantages of abstraction. It reduces the complexity of viewing the things to avoid code duplication and increases reusability. It helps to increase security of an application or a program as only important details are provided to the user.